Welcome, everyone. My name is Vinny Ferraro. Welcome to Big Heart City. Welcome to the folks online, too. Yeah, take a look around this space. Good to remember that we're not doing this alone. Thanks to all the volunteers that make Big Heart City possible. I see lots of them here tonight. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for coming out. Yeah, it's like a crazy pre-Super Bowl energy. Strange. I remember working for a bookie. I lived with him at the time, and to see one event, people would be crying tears of joy, and people would be crying sad. So, depending on if they lost or won. So strange. At that point, I had never been to a sporting event. I was like, what could this be that brings so much emotion? So much kind of fervor. You know. Yeah. Hmm. Maybe let's turn our attention inward just for a minute to just land in our chair, land in our body. Hmm. And just noticing how you are right now in your body. See if you can feel your feet on the floor. If you can feel the chair, the cushion. Just notice how it is in this moment of slowing down. And let your eyes open. Notice what happens to awareness in the presence of others. Notice if it changes or how it changes. And then please put a few words in the room. What did you connect with in the moment of slowing down? Nice and loud, please. Say it yourself. Whatever that is, right? Yeah? What else? Say it again. Expansiveness. Great. What else? Doesn't have to be good. Calm. Want to trade? Yeah. Gratitude. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's a practice of ours to kind of drop down from the coconut into the body and see what is found. Not what I think is going to be there, or so much of our life has this momentum to it that it seems harder to slow down than it actually is. Can you hear me in the back okay? Beautiful. May it continue to be so. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the folks that are online right now, too, because not everybody lives in the Bay Area. I just want to mention that they're here with us, even if we're not breathing the same air. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to start off talking about something that's so ordinary that it kind of slips by our attention. And that's just how much time we spend thinking, you know, alone with our thoughts. Hmm. And that relationship can be very complicated, you know? It's always going, right? The podcast that never stops, the endless narration, the comments, the evaluation, you know, lots of evaluation. And it tells us what's happening, what it means, what it says about us, right? There's all kinds of data points. And it's kind of easy to believe, right? Not because we've checked the facts, but because that voice sounds just like me, right? I mean, when did you realize that voice was not you? Have you? I mean, it comes fast, right? It usually comes with lots of confidence as well, right? And it usually gets there before awareness does. So, part of what we're trying to do with meditation is slow things down so that we can come into right relationship with whatever we're coming into contact with. So it could be a feeling in the body, it could be a thought, it could be an emotion, it could be another being sitting in front of us. Right? So tonight I want to talk about thinking, not how to stop it, not how to improve it, but how to not be ruled by it. 'Cause, a lot of our suffering doesn't come from what's happening in our lives, but our thoughts about what's happening in our lives. Hmm. Hmm. The mind has always got something to say about what's happening. And it's easy to live in a story like it's a reality. Hmm. I was just, uh, I'm interested in psychology. And so there's this little study that this university did where they put scarring on these women, and they asked them to go in and see if there was any difference in the interviewing process. And then right before they walked, and they walked in and they did the interview and they all came back, 80 to 90% were just like, oh yeah, it totally changed things. What they didn't tell them is that right before they walked in the room, the makeup artist had taken all the scarring off them. But still, it created a certain kind of reality that they had confirmation many, many times over that this is why they were being treated like this. The implications are just staggering. How much our stories shape perception, they shape reality as we know it, right? The Buddha never said that thinking was a problem. That's just some, bad PR, right? He said that unseen thinking is a problem, right? So his take on it, and then there's a very big difference between that, right? I like the way he talked about it. He said a thought occurred, and that would be a very natural event, a thought occurring. Not that he had a thought, but that a thought occurred. But a thought believed, fused with, or taken personally, that's where things start to tighten a little bit, right? We could have a thought and all of a sudden our belly kind of hurts, right? Or, some, the body contracts or the heart contracts, starts closing up, feels um, maybe, hmm, yeah, just tighter. Some thoughts are beautiful and they kind of have an expansive feeling, maybe, right? This is where we want to start making um, like a better decisions about what we let the mind ruminate on, because we know, we come inclined with a negative bias, right? So we can start making decisions from old conditioning, from fear, from habit, if we're not very kind of diligent about it. And most of the time, we don't even notice it's happening. It's just like all in the black box of the mind. And, it doesn't take long for us to be lost in thought. Just notice it throughout your day, how many times you're just kind of living inside a thought. I notice it a lot these days. Lots of stories to tell. But this idea that thoughts just occur, right? Mark Epstein wrote a great book on the subject. If it pulls you to understand this dimension of thought, he wrote a book called Thoughts Without a Thinker. A fantastic book. But I found it to be quite a relief that I wasn't conjuring up these thoughts, because if you lived in my mind, you would be worried about me. Because it's fucking mayhem. It's wild. It's circus. It's a circus. It's a church. It's a wrestling mat. There's a lot of things happening in my mind that I don't want to take credit or blame for. Right. So, not my thought, not me thinking. Just a mental event arising and passing tens of thousands of times a day. So much so that it's hardly noticeable. But this way of seeing, it already loosens the grip of thought, right? When we think we are our thoughts, we're taking something that doesn't belong to us. We're taking responsibility, right? We can blame ourselves that we're in a bad mood. We can shame ourselves for having bad thoughts. We can judge ourselves for this kind of inner environment or that we didn't choose. And then that makes it really hard to sit. If everything is some sort of reflection on I, me, and mine, it gets really hard to sit. I don't want to be with that. And it's really hard to rest because it doesn't stop. Yeah. It can be hard to enjoy our own company when we take this adversarial position um, with thought. So this is this insight, this practice it tells us that thinking is happening on its own. I like the way Matthew puts it. Matthew says, "My neuroses require no participation." I hear that laughter and know you know what he's talking about. We could be just going about our lives, right? Walking down the street, brushing our teeth, and we find ourselves living inside a memory, replaying an old conversation. Maybe some doubt arises that maybe I fucked something up and, trying to figure it out, right? And the body, it responds immediately. It's like, ooh, ooh, all of a sudden there's an urgency. All that happened was a thought occurred. But if I'm not kind of noting a thought occurred, all of a sudden there's heat in my chest, this leaning forward that maybe something has to be done. Maybe, I have to call somebody, I have to apologize, I have to, whatever it is, right? So the body reacts before we've even checked in whether the thought is true. The nervous system doesn't wait for us to fact check it. It has immediate response. So the work that we do with thought isn't to argue with it. It isn't to exile it. It's not to even to replace it with a better thought. It's to see it early, right? Early detection, right? Because once I'm kind of enveloped in a thought, I'm kind of under the influence of it. I can get scared, right? I can get fear has been something I've been my companion in my life. And, when I'm afraid, I'm not in my right mind. Not really, you know. So this is where mindfulness comes in, right? We start to notice, oh, thinking is happening, planning, judging, hoping, whatever it is, right? Sometimes worrying, right? It's not to shame it, not to stop it, but to know it. The moment I know that I'm in a thought, I'm not lost in it anymore. It's like waking up and realizing you're in a movie theater, right? This is not philosophy. It's very experiential. Um, it's the difference between being caught in the river or standing on the bank and watching it go by. This is something that meditation practice offers us. And no amount of books will do it for you. It doesn't matter how much you understand it. If you're not in the habit of noticing, what is awareness doing now? What the fuck are you up to in there? You know what I mean? It's like the thoughts still flow, but we're not dragged downstream. Hmm. A lot of people really do believe that meditation is really hinged on this idea of having fewer thoughts. I certainly thought that when I got here. And then you realize it doesn't matter how many thoughts you have. It has nothing to do with having a good meditation. Zero impact on whether it was a good meditation or not. Really, all it does is it gives you a lot more opportunities to notice it and return back to the body, back to this moment, right? If having no thoughts were the goal, we'd be, aiming for a mild head injury. You know what I mean? Like it's not what we're shooting for here. So the goal here is discernment. You know, the Buddha talked about two kinds of thoughts, skillful and unskillful. The ones that lead towards suffering, the ones that lead away from it. Helpful, unhelpful, whatever words you want to use, you get the sense. It's not moral, it's not personal, it's just cause and effect. But the question that really helped me change my relationship to thought is, do I really want to be thinking this? Such a simple question. Most of the time, I'm like, hell no. It's true. Most of the time that I drop that inquiry into the well of thought, it's just like, oh, hell no. Nah, I want to check out this tree or whatever. You know what I mean? I want to do something that I want to do, and I don't want to feel hijacked by the mind or like my consciousness is commandeered. It's not should I be having this thought, because the thought is already present. Another way, is this helpful? You know, and you don't need to answer it with words. The body already knows. So I'd ask you, as you're moving through your day, notice what thoughts tighten the chest or narrow the field or make you feel isolated in some way. Other thoughts soften, maybe open, and maybe connect, right? We know those thoughts too. We don't have to make them disappear. We just don't have to feed the ones that kind of cloud the waters or more dramatically poison the well. When skillful thoughts arise, it's okay to enjoy them, but not forgetting, oh, this is just a dimension of thought. And so the noting practice of just noting what awareness is aware of, very helpful. When unskillful thoughts come, we don't have to get into a fighting stance, but we don't invite them to move in either, right? Most of the time, and this might be different for you, you might be a very spiritual person. Most of the time, what's happening in the mind is not worthy of my undivided attention. It's just not. And so it's okay. We can just let them die on the vine, you know? Hmm. 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 I think very often we take things very personally. Uh, we think that there's something wrong for thinking this. When we believe that there's something wrong with thinking this, like there's something wrong with me, wish granted. There is now. But the suffering doesn't come from the thought. It comes from how we relate to it. They say, I don't know if they say, I say, that this Buddhism thing, this meditation thing, is really about relationships. And we tend to think about that with other people, but it's with everything. What's my relationship to this self, to this body, to these thoughts? I don't know how to say this Greek philosopher's name, but it looks like Epictetus, whatever that may mean. That person said, people are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of things. It doesn't mean that life is not hard. It means that we tend to add an extra layer of pain by believing every piece of commentary the mind offers. And it's very unreliable. I mean, we can rely on it for many, many things, the mind. Helps us navigate the world. I'm really, really glad we can do that. But because thoughts are so subtle, a loud sound or a physical pain, we don't have to go looking for. It comes and finds us, right? But thoughts, this little whisper of little, almost nothing. This talk is not going well. These motherfuckers don't get it. right? We hardly notice it. Flies under the radar. Sometimes. Could shape our mood, shape even the way we're sitting, our posture, our sense of who we are, all without asking permission, right? And this is why simply noticing the body can be a radical interruption. Just feeling the feet, feeling the hands, feeling the breath, and coming out of this cockpit that we don't live behind the eyes. There's a whole field of experience here. I mean, Ajahn Sucitto, he put it really beautifully. He said, what we pay attention to becomes the dominant flavor of our experience. Just think about that. What we pay attention to becomes the dominant flavor of our experience. So what are we steeping ourselves in? Hmm. Hmm. I'm sure we all have our greatest hits. Some people it might be, the self-criticism trip or fear, right? Or replaying old hurts, right? Maybe some people, there's a lot of clarity, a lot of inner kindness. There's curiosity. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about wise attention. It's important to say this clearly. This is not about managing yourself better. It's not about self-optimization. It's about wisdom. When mindfulness is present, we're no longer relating from thought. We're relating to it. I hope that distinction makes sense. That's where the freedom is. Not freedom from thinking, freedom from being run by it. And this is deeply compassionate work. Because once we stop taking thought personally, we can stop treating ourselves like a problem to be solved. We start meeting ourselves exactly where we are, not at the mind's verdict, right? Not some story of deficiency. Just as a human being with a nervous system shaped by causes and conditions. Doesn't have to be much more than that. And we're doing our best in this, complex world. Of course, the mind does this. It scans for danger, right? I'm glad it does that. I mean, might be more hyper vigilant than I'd like to be. But all the animals that were really relaxed and walked off the freaking cliff, they didn't go on to propagate us, right? We are the descendants of the nervous animals. Of course, we replay mistakes, right? All of these things have evolutionary benefits. Of course, it imagines what might go wrong. Yeah. All very normal. whatever that word means. It's not a personal indictment on you. There's a That's a survival system doing what it learned to do over, 1,000 generations. Liberation doesn't mean the mind stops producing greed, fear, and confusion. It means we're no longer fooled into believing that's who we are. The Buddha said over and over that suffering comes from not seeing clearly, not seeing thoughts as thoughts, or moods as moods, or conditioning as conditioning. So practice is learning to see. And the Dharma gives us so many different lenses to look through. Say, okay, see what this view has to offer. I remember being in Japan, and they have these beautiful gardens, and every step of the path, there would be a little rock to land on, flat, and they're offering you something. So, I take a step and then look around. Oh, yeah, that freaking vase. That's cool. Right? And take another step and you see another view. And I think about the Dharma in that same way. Sometimes when I'm reading the teachings, I can't quite see the view yet. Right? I know he's offering something. I know the teachings are offering something. And I might have some sense about it, right? Some feeling in the body about it. This one in particular for me really changed my life because I live in a very psychological mind. So when I started feeling some freedom around this, I really appreciated it. And once we begin to see how much choice we have in this arena of what we let the mind dwell on, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't happen all at once, but moment by moment, we start seeing that we have a lot more choice than we had imagined. We get to decide what we put our life energy into. We get to decide what we align ourselves with. I can find it all in me. I can find the kindness and I can find the fear and I can find all of it. Anything you mention, I can usually find within me. What am I aligning myself with? So as we move into sitting tonight, I invite you into this experiment. Don't try to silence the mind. Don't hope for a meditation with less thoughts. Just notice when thoughts are happening. Notice how the body responds. Notice whether a thought tightens or opens, right? I'll add one more thing. I'm not sure what happened. Did something? What the fuck was that? Does anybody know? You all know. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, internet. Cool. Cool. Just that. So I mean, I didn't. I've been swearing. I'm in church. I'll add one more thing, if the internet will allow me. God, rude interruption. Um, Sometimes I ask myself another very simple question: is this delivering me to the moment or from it? It's just another way to understand, like, what happens when we wake up to thought. It's like, oh, that's taking me away into some other time, into some other place, into some other me. The question alone is a form of wisdom, because you are not the thoughts passing through you. You're the awareness that knows them. And that awareness, when met with patience, kindness, and clarity, is already free. I know it doesn't feel like that. Maybe you don't feel a lot of attachment to thought, but we have to see this dimension very clearly and repeatedly. Maybe enough words for now. We'll take, I don't know, let's do 7 minutes and then we'll come back and sit together. Right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Hey, hey, come on back, come on back, come on back.
It's so perfect because today I was just talking to people about regulating their nervous system, and I was giving them that to think less, breathe more.
Yeah,
And here you are. It's like
right on,
so valid
right
right
on
now.
time, dude.
Button.
Good seeing you, bro. Huh? No. All right. All right, y'all. Bring it on in. You want to say some things?
Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. It's a little low. It's a little low. Little low. Oh, there we are. Hey, everybody. My name is Renee. I'm the person at info@bigheartcity.org. Super happy to have a full house tonight. Just wanted to give a couple of announcements. So tomorrow we have our Sangha service project with the food pantry that's here at St. Gregory's. And we invite anyone who wants to volunteer at the food pantry with other Sangha members to sign up on our website. I think we're full for tomorrow, but we do it every Saturday after our in-person sit. And we meet up, those of us that are volunteering, we meet at the Phil's just down the way at 9 in the morning, and then we all come over and do the service together. So it's a way to meet other folks and give back. And then we also do a hygiene items drive for the food pantry. So there are some items back there like socks and Band-Aids and deodorant and soap and all those kinds of things. It's really great if you are able to help contribute to that. And we have an online day long coming up on Saturday, February 21st. And I forgot to print out a flyer for it. So please go to bigheartcity.org and check it out. It's a day long with Vinny. We start at 10, we go until about 4. And it's a great way to, as Vinny always says, claim your day for the Dharma. And then we have a 3-night silent retreat coming up in May. And if you are a previous retreat attendee, you have an email in your inbox with a link to buy a ticket. And if you haven't been on retreat before, we're going to send out an email on Sunday with any remaining tickets and also the wait list. So if you do want to join us, sign up on the wait list or get your ticket tonight. And then it looks like John has an announcement.
More of a request. If you would like to learn how to accidentally delay the YouTube through the speakers, we're looking for volunteers. We would love to have a couple more people to help us with the rotation of taking care of this system. So it's really easy. If you would like to participate, show up at about 6 o'clock on Friday evenings and watch us do what we do, and we'll let you do some of it as you get better at it, and you can become part of the team. We'd love to have you. And if you'd like to help us take down and learn how to take down, we're around tonight. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, John. Yeah. And thank you, Renee. And everything we do here is by donation. It's okay. That's part of my mind too. Yeah. Okay. Turn your attention inward. You can close your eyes. You can just soften your gaze, whatever feels right to you. And just notice the body supported, grounded, present. Breathing. Worthy of your attention. And see if you can soften any demand you have on this moment or yourself being a certain way. This is really how we welcome ourselves into the present moment. You might feel the warmth of your hands, contact with the clothes, the pressure of having a body, a weight. And get curious about this breathing. There's so many characteristics of breathing. There's the taste and the smell and the temperature and the rhythm. And you don't have to manage it or control it. But how does the body know that it's breathing from the inside out, not your thoughts about it? Maybe you can feel the rising and falling of the belly or the chest. Or maybe the sensations are more predominant in your nose, your mouth, your throat. wherever it's the strongest, just allowing your awareness to settle on that space with those sensations. And allow it to move naturally. And allow awareness to widen a bit, to include the body as a whole. The sensation, temperature, pressure. We're not scanning for problems. We're just noticing what's already present. And notice what the mind is doing. There may be thoughts or images, plans or commentary. There's no need to push them away. See if you can simply recognize thinking. Very simple, not getting caught up in the content, not arguing with it, not judging it, just thinking. Or simply knowing a thought is happening. There might be thoughts that I shouldn't be thinking this much, or this is working. See if you can recognize that too. Just thinking. And we keep finding ourselves coming back to this body, this chair, feet on the floor. If you do notice a thought arising or happening, see if the body responds. Maybe a contraction or a softening, somewhat tightening or a release. Let the body be a part of this practice. If a thought feels charged or is particularly persistent, you may want to ask, without needing an answer, is this thought pulling me away from my experience or bringing me closer to it? No right response. We just notice what happens when we ask. If you find yourself lost in a story, and you've been gone for quite a while, it's okay. That's not a mistake. We're not forbidding awareness from wandering. We just welcome it back every time it does. Welcome back to this body, this breath, this moment. To the immediacy of being alive. If a sense of self-judgment or criticism appears, see if you can just recognize it as another mental event. Not you, not a verdict, just something that's passing through awareness. And if it feels possible, let there be a tone of kindness in how you're noticing. Doesn't have to be forced, but just the kindness you might offer a close friend who's caught up in a difficult moment. And notice how awareness itself is not tense. Like thoughts can come and go within it. Sensations arise and pass. But awareness remains open, steady. You can rest there. Not trying to get anywhere, not trying to change anything, simply knowing what's present as it's present. And if the mind is busy, know that. If it's quiet, know that. If you feel restless, know that. Everything belongs in awareness. Nothing needs to be excluded. Often the mind can get tense toward the end of a meditation. It just wants the damn bell to ring. Just a thought, not to be taken seriously. You don't have to wait to relax. Thank God that's over. Said the mind. Love to hear from y'all. Doesn't have to be good, just has to be true. What was that like for you to just post up in kind awareness? Is that what it felt like? Did anyone have an experience? Killer.
So there were people who hadn't completely silenced their phone, and every once in a while my mind would hear bing, bling. And my first reaction was, what is it that people don't understand about silencing a phone?
Yeah.
And so I observed that, and I thought, what an opportunity to not react to it. Thank you, people who don't know how to silence your phone.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I've thought that so many times, and sometimes it's me. It's like so inconsiderate. God. What else? It's really okay to put your voice in. You're totally welcome to do that. Hi.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, voice. Thank you. That was really great. I've been thinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a little diagnosis that is going to be just fine. I'm assured, very treatable. And they seem jolly. My team, I have a team now. And, you know, it's treatable, it's going to be fine. And then they tell you this thing that sounds like it fucking sucks. Like, you'll be fine after surgery and radiation and 5 years of some drug. And I am going to be fine. And I've spent a lot of time practicing the thing we just did together, right? Of like noticing what I think. And I've come to believe that I'm the way I am for a really good reason. And that right there takes off a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And then to approach it in this friendly way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of crazy, like how well, I think I'm doing so well. I've had such a great fucking week, laughing, tennis, it's been a great week, except for this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I'm gonna tell you what I notice. Like what I notice is I'm addicted, literally like I used to be addicted to drugs, to certain thought patterns that are really escalating. Like when I'm driving, what I notice now is I'm looking for people to do stupid things so that I can get that righteous,
Get out of here.
angry, rageful,
No fucking
and I like
way,
it.
dude.
I like it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you talked a lot about the mind and the body, and like I really need that energy for healing right now. So I can't doom scroll because I can't do anything about any of that for the most part. And I need, if I'm escalated, I can't heal, just straight up. So I practiced driving and looking for people who needed to be let in. And I felt like this empty sadness, like when I quit smoking, because I missed the rage a little. Anyway, God, what a life, right? What a crazy life. And I'm sorry, I'm talking too long, but and I was thinking these treatments are gonna suck. And then I just get to notice that, maybe they're not. Right? And it's like you with the scars. Like if I go in there saying it's gonna suck, it is for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just gonna be an experience and I can just notice how it feels and maybe it'll just be fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. You said a lot of good things. I have been known to look in the mirror to see if they're going to start using their blinker anytime soon. It's like they're not anywhere in front of me. It doesn't matter what they do. It's like, no, but I know that they're a fucking bad person. They're just selfish. And it's just like, who am I in this situation? What else?
So
Hi, Molly.
I've noticed that in terms of narrative
Put it a little
thought,
closer.
telling a story about what the hell is going on,
Mm-hmm.
it gets slippery and slipperier the longer I practice. Harder to see. It's like the volume got turned down somehow, which is actually really fucking nice compared to where I came in at 11 years ago. But one of the things that I've noticed is, some about the year I've had. Where my mind wants to go when I sit is immediately to the pain. It really wants to just hold that really tender spot and just protect the shit out of it. And today I was like, well, what happens if we just let that energy flow around and we don't worry about it and we just assume that it's taken care of and we trust our heart to know how to heal? What a freaking lift, man. I was able to just drop in and settle and be like, yeah, this really fucking hurts. And I'm still here, feet on the ground, 5 fingers, 5 toes, all good. Yeah. Whatever it is, man, it's all love.
Thank you. I can't think of. Yeah, it gets very complicated in my mind because nothing is what I think it is. You know what I mean? Nothing is gonna be what I think it is, or it already. It's like I think we have bad previewers of what things are going to deliver to us. And so I just find a lot more honesty in the body, right? The body's not trying to pretend it's not tired or aching or full of energy, right? It's way more honest, I'm not sure why that is, but, maybe it's more in presence than the mind that's always Was I okay? Am I okay? Am I going to be okay? Was I okay? Am I okay? Am I going to be okay? Right? Yeah. Maybe time for one more. Anybody else want to put their voice in? Even if you hated it, especially if you hated it.
Vinny, your talk tonight was divinely timed for me, and I'm wondering if it's okay if I share about my week of paying attention to my thoughts and my thinking. So this idea of wise attention and unwise attention, and just noticing my thinking without judgment, or am I in the story, or can I not be in the story, and just notice, my thoughts or where it normally takes me. And I had a really hard week, and there were times where I was noticing how much I was in my story, and the work that I did was just not judging it, and even knowing I wasn't in wise attention and not judging that, and just just noticing that. And it's not where I want to be, but I did feel it did get me thinking that I'm getting closer. Somehow this is going to take me closer to where I want to be, just by noticing and just saying, it's okay. I'm in that old story, and it's painful, and this is where I'm at right now, and this is where I'm thinking, and just, as opposed, so even though I was still in it,
Yeah.
I was somehow more wise.
Yeah, there sounds like some compassionate holding there, And so,
Thanks.
we want any movement toward kind of befriending our experience. That's time well spent. Yeah, I'm glad you made it here after a crazy week.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you. Well, maybe the last thing I'll say about it, if this is how you're spending Friday night, you're probably doing better than you fucking think. Any benefit that came from us sitting together, practicing and sharing, may we send it out to all beings in all directions without exception. May all beings remember their goodness and recognize their belonging. And may all beings know liberation. Thank you for coming. I hope this has been helpful in some way. And I'll see you in another dream. We're going to put on some music.